One of the most enduring love poems ever written came from the English poet Elizabeth Barrett Browning. The eldest of 12 children, Elizabeth was the first in her family to be born in England in over 200 years. For centuries, the Barrett family, who were part Creole, lived in Jamaica, where they owned sugar plantations and relied on slave labor. Elizabeth's father, Edward Moulton Barrett, chose to raise his family in England while his fortune grew in Jamaica. In 1809, he bought the 500-hectare estate near Malvern Hills called Hope End, where Elizabeth was educated at home. By the age of 14, Elizabeth wrote her first epic poem. In 1826, she anonymously published her first book of poems. Elizabeth suffered a lung ailment, which was treated by doctors then with morphine. She also suffered a spinal injury after saddling a horse. With the abolition of slavery and weakening of income from the Jamaica plantations, her father eventually sold his estate at a public auction and finally settled his family in London. Due to her weakening disposition, she was forced to spend a year at the seaside town of Torquay. There her brother died in a sailing accident, which took a serious toll on her already fragile health. She returned to London and for several years lived as a recluse. In 1844, she produced a collection simply called Poems. The book caught the attention of Robert Browning, whose work Elizabeth had praised in one of her poems, and he wrote her a letter, which was the first of 574 letters exchanged in the next 20 months. Through a mutual friend, John Kenyon, Robert Browning, 6 years her junior, was introduced to Elizabeth. Their romance, which was bitterly opposed by Elizabeth's father, who did not want any of his children to marry, ended in the couple's secret marriage, elopement, and final settlement in Casa Guidi, Florence, Italy, where she bore Robert a son, nicknamed Pen. In 1850, Elizabeth's best-known book of poems was published, Sonnets from the Portuguese. They are not translations, but a sequence of 44 sonnets recording the growth of her love for Robert. He often called her "my little Portuguese" because of her dark complexion. Sonnet 43 begins with the phrase, "How do I love thee?" which became the popular title for this sonnet. Sonnet 43, with its lyricism, is a poem waiting to be sung. If it ever was sung during the time Elizabeth wrote it, then it would definitely sound strangely different from the pop and the hip-hop songs we now ordinarily hear. Elizabeth Barrett Browning died in her husband's arms in Italy on June 29, 1861. The song you're about to hear is dedicated to their love.
How do I love thee? Let me count the ways. I love thee to the depth, breadth, and height. My soul can reach when feeling out of sight. For the ends of being and ideal grace, I love thee to the level of every day's most quiet need. By sun and candlelight, I love thee freely as men strive for right. essence of being and ideal grace. I love thee to the level of everyday's moment.